Crash from Crash Customs, Lake Havasu, Arizona, and we just got a new project dropped off today. My buddy Kevin just bought this 64 rag top. Got it out of state. Just saw pictures of it online and snatched it up. Pretty decent car. We're doing a color sand and buff on it, or paint correction if you want to like make it sound really impressive. Yeah, we're doing a paint correction on it. Panel alignment, and the big thing that I am really excited about is those wheels are going to disappear. To me, it's got a kind of a old man muscle car look to it, kind of stock-ish, some slight mods, but it's going to get a makeover big time. Hydraulics and 13-inch real deal Dayton wire wheels. Some exhaust work so we can drop it nice and low. And I'm sure there's going to be some other miscellaneous things added to the list. But I'm super stoked about hydraulics. I've never done a car with hydros on it before, so this will be new to me. I like things that go up and down though. I got a lot of stuff on air. Done a lot of air ride setups, but it ain't the same as hydros. Kevin has. Kevin's done several. He's had several juiced Impalas and Regals throughout the years, and it's time for him to get back into that. So follow along. It's going to be a pretty awesome makeover. Not a complete redo, but working with what we got on some of the stuff, it'll end up being a completely different 64 when it's done. Two things on Kevin's 64. Panel alignment. I'm going to show you what we got going on here. You can see those body lines don't line up. Those body lines don't line up. Trunk gap is erratic. Not flush. Very wide, narrower. And this side, super wide, way off here, cocked, like you can see in the trunk from the side. And driver's door also. Things don't line up 100. We're gonna do that. Once I align the sheet metal, look at that, that's way off. I'm gonna do a color sand and buff. It looks like a paint job that was sprayed and cleared and they called it done. So there's, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but let me turn this light off, maybe that'll help. There's a orange peel. If you look at the light, you can see the orange peel. There's dust in the clear. It should all wet sand out though. There you go, you can see that chunk. So spend a lot of time color sanding, being careful, because I have no idea how much the clear they put on when they sprayed it. I'm hoping at least 2. I'd love to have more so I could really tear into it. But it's, not only is it orange peely and dust, but woo! Somebody did what I just did while it was at the beach, full of sand. It is all scratched up. We'll see if that shows up on camera. So, I believe it's very savable. Get that super shine on it. Start color sanding, and then a 3-stage buff. Go from there. Started color sanding, and I did a little sample area because I have no idea how much clear is on this car. Really, the lower part of the car for the way most people spray, technically, even if you did 3 coats on the whole car, this would have the least amount of coverage because you're hitting it from the side. There's a curve, so it's, I don't want to say upside down, but it ain't the top of the hood or the trunk lid. And a lot of the clear just falls to the ground. When you're shooting a trunk lid or the top side of a car, you're aiming it down, the pattern fans out, and a lot of the overspray clear still lands on top of the car. So technically, even if you're, no matter if you're doing the same amount of coats on the whole car, you're gonna have more clear on the top side. So this has been sanded 2025-3 with just one quick buff on it. No sand throughs, and if it shows up, this has not been color sanded and buffed. I think I'll do it with and without the light. Maybe there'll be a difference. This color sanded with one buff. So let me turn this light off. Might show up a little better. Pretty happy with that. Like I said, I don't know how much they put on, so I can only be so aggressive with it. But you can see, like here, they didn't do anything. There's dust and dirt in it. Orange peel. Some areas are better than others. But this color sand and buff is going to change the car. Look at that, that's awful there. Bright red and red. So gonna keep going, obviously, because there was no problem down here. When I do finish color sanding the whole vehicle, there'll be a 3-stage buff and wax. The first go around of color sanding is done. I decided to start with 1500 because some spots were pretty bad with the orange peel and dryness. When I did my sample piece down here, I started with 2 and it came out pretty good. But for the whole car, I started with 15, getting right up to the edges of everything. Whole car. Mirrors came off super easy, took those off, and then the Impala emblems right there. Nothing crazy, we're not taking off all the trim. Just sandpaper and some inner tube rubber, really, because you know, I didn't do the body work or the paint. If I did, I'd be using a harder block for color sanding. Dull. Gotta make it look ugly before you can make it look good. On to 2000 grit. That's next. We are ready to buff. Finished in 3000 grit. I showed you 1500. I didn't think it was necessary to show you, you know, every 500 increment of finer sandpaper. I was kind of hoping 1500 and then showing you 3000 would kind of show you it's got a shine to it with the 3, a reflective shine. Obviously it needs to be buffed, but you can see the light in it a lot easier than with 1500. So next step, 3-stage buff. Also taped off the convertible top. It's faster and easier just to tape it off with some plastic then to get buffing compound all over it in the grooves, and then have to scrub it out and re-detail the top. Way faster just to tape it off. Check this out. We have some shine on 3000 this side. First buff on the passenger side. First buff. It's coming. It's coming. Top of the door. First buff. Quarter. First buff. And passenger side of the trunk. First buff. It's only going to get shinier from here on out. 3000 still on the driver's side. Contrast, compare. Coming around on the driver's side for the first buff of the 64. Let me show you the pads I'm using. See how the perimeter comes to a nice point? All right. You saw that I got super tight with the color sanding to the trim, to all the body lines. This is what you want to do. Not this with the pad, because you're probably going to miss about a ½ inch of paint close to the trim. Hit it at an angle and get that point of the pad right into the trim. You'll get a super nice shine. Also, with this curve, it's nice to do areas like this. You can rock it in and out without putting a lot of pressure on the sharp body line here. Who knows how much clear is on this paint? You could burn through if you're not careful. Also, like door handle areas, look, you get right in there if you hit it at an angle. You can even do it like that. If you're left-handed, right-handed, don't matter. Company name, Buff and Shine pads. This is a brand new one. See how nice and tight that is to the point. Also, this is a finishing pad. If it shows up, the pattern of the holes are super tight. That means it's a finishing pad. This is a first cut pad. You can see how big the holes are. This is a little worn, but maybe on this part you can see. Sometimes they change colors of the pads. And all you gotta do is look at the hole pattern. Super tight, that's a finishing pad. Also, not only the trim you can get tight to, but if you're doing like a 30s era car, check this out. The body lines on that. What's that? Super detailed. So this is Model A, but 33, 34s, 36s, 7s, they all got like these cool body lines to them that come out from the body. If you're doing a real tight cut and buff, you can just angle the tip of the pad in there. Even here where it curves down, you can get in there, top one like that, and you get a real nice tight, no orange peel cut and buff. Also the drip rails. How many cars have drip rails? Tons of them. 50s, 60s, even 80s. Look at that. You can get right in there. Get rid of all the orange peel. You do have to be careful. This tip, if you're pressing too hard, it's going to burn in real quick to the paint, whether it's clear or single stage. You're going to burn it. So you want to almost lift up on the buffer. More compound, the better. That's what keeps it from getting hot. Oh man, check out the shine. 3-stage buff is done. If you need to rewind and see the before, feel free, because it's super shiny now. Super shiny. Bright red instead of the muted red that was on a uncut and buffed and poorly maintained paint job. We are here now. Just cleanup, lots of cleanup in the edges. See, there's wet sanding funk, buffing compound funk everywhere. Super easy to clean up though. I get these brushes when my girl decides she needs new makeup brushes. I take them. Look at all of them, different sizes. Super soft. They don't affect the paint at all, but you can get in there. Look at that. Look at it bringing that funk out of there. Super easy. If it don't want to come out that easy, put a little detailer on there, get it wet. It's probably the best way to go, fastest way to go. But, you know, jams have to be cleaned up, stuff like that. We're putting new mirrors on, new front hood trim. I'll put the Impala emblems back on here, but Kevin also got new taillight assemblies. The ones that were on here were pretty grungy. I'll throw those on. He bought new antennas. Yes, antennas, because lowriders, they have 2 antennas. It's like the law. If you have a lowrider, you have to have 2 antennas. So I'll drill a hole on the driver's side, make a match, and he'll be set with that. And this stage is just about done. Cleanup, lots of cleanup. Got to drill a hole on that side for the dual antenna. Make a quick template, pattern, whatever you want to call it. Edge of the quarter, edge of the trunk lid. Just mark off where the stainless trim is. Super easy. Cut that. Feel the low spot where the hole is. There's your hole. Can you see that? Should be obvious. Turn the light out. You can see exactly where it is. Cut this out of the paper. Flip it over there. Let me do that. Paper's cut. Now, all you gotta do, flip it upside down, get the mirror image, put that up against the trim, get this edge along the body line like we did on the other side, and that should be where the hole goes. Super easy. Took me longer to get the paper and the pencil than it did to make the pattern. I'm wrapping up this portion of the 64 project. It's pretty much ready for Kevin to pick up and cruise it for a while, enjoy what we did, and line things up for the next stage. So just to review, he bought 6 new taillights assemblies, and we did red all the way across. Usually they have a reverse light there. I always thought they kind of looked odd. And I don't know, 6 red matching taillights on a red car, fresh and clean, bezels, everything. I like the way that looks. He ordered dual antennas. There was an antenna on this side. I drilled a new hole. Obviously you saw that on this side. And I started putting them together, and the connecting hardware to the base to the antenna was missing in both boxes. So we're waiting for that. Threw on new side mirrors, nice crisp chrome. And that too, the base that screws into the door that you screw the mirror to was shaped differently than the original, and I just wasn't holding it down, so I used the original base. And the front, he decided to order a new hood trim piece, and that came delivered damaged from probably manufacturing and delivery. So we're waiting for a new one of those. But you can still pick it up and cruise it. And if you work on cars yourself and order parts and get stuff delivered, you know this is how it goes with the aftermarket world. Very rarely do you get what you need right the first time. You got to call back, reorder, they resend. Things are always missing, but that's the way of the world. So look at that shine. Yeah. Anyways, like, comment, and subscribe, and follow along as we transform this into a lowrider. Juice, wire wheels. Wire wheels are already ordered. We're not even going to show what was on it or the wires on it until it is going up and down, cruising down the road too. Check this out. I didn't show this before. 3 pedals, 5-speed. There's going to be a couple changes going on in the interior, but nothing major. As of now, nothing major, but you know how the car guys are. Escalation always happens.
Please like, comment and subscribe. We really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. For all the lowrider fanatics, what is your favorite lowrider movie?